right? I'm also recording from my side. Let me share the screen, right? So only the difference is naming, okay? Naming convention. For default instance, you can connect to the SQL server using a computer name. For named instance, you have to provide the computer name and instance name, okay? Right? And again, default instance is not compulsory for the first time. First time you can install directly named instance, okay? Or first time you can install directly default instance. Whatever is there, you can install it. Mostly in the organization, people are going to use default instance, okay? If only one instance, they are going to configure for only one instance, they are going to install it as a default instance. That's it only. That is the only advantage. We can connect to the default instance using computer name. Remaining, there is no other differences between default instance and named instance, okay? Right? Default instance will allow you to connect to the SQL server using a computer name, right? So named instance, what name you can give, what are maximum characters you can give, what and all names it will accept, okay? You cannot give instance name more than 16 characters. It will not allow more than 16 characters, okay? Instance name should not be more than 16 characters, okay? Not more than 16 characters. That is one rule. 16 characters. You cannot start instance name with numbers and special characters. Okay, you cannot start your instance name with numbers and special characters. Instance name should start with only alphabets. Instance name should start with only alphabets. Okay, and it will not accept any special characters in the instance name. Like there are special characterized at the rate. Okay, and this symbol. Okay, not symbol. There are different special characters are there, right? It won't accept any special characters other than it will accept two dollar and underscore. It will accept only these two special characters in the instance name. Again, you cannot give instance name like this dollar SQL 2012. So what is the wrong with this? It will accept dollar and underscore in the instance name, but you cannot give like this. What is the wrong in this? Can anyone tell me what is the wrong in this?
First letter should not be a
Yes,
special.
yes, it should start with only alphabets, okay? Even though it will accept, okay, dollar and underscore, the first letter, the instance name should start with only alphabets, okay? Right, can I give an instance name like this? Can I give an instance name like this?
Space you had given, no?
Okay, so what happened if I give space?
You can give like this. No.
Okay, so space is also a special characters. It won't accept if you give like instance name like this, okay? It will accept, you can give like this SQL dollar 2012, okay, or else SQL underscore 2012, but don't give SQL space 2012. Space is also a special character, it won't accept you, okay? So these are the main important precautions that you have to take care while giving the instance name. But again, don't ask me like who will give the instance name and all. We won't give our own instance name. User will tell us to give the instance name as per the application, so we have to simply copy paste that instance name. Sometimes DBA team also will put the instance name as per the organization standards. Okay, fine. So don't worry at all. You will get to know what are the standards to put as an instance name in the installation. Okay, so don't worry at all, right? Don't give your own name. Don't give Ashwin or else Arun in the organization. Okay, you cannot give like that. So you have to follow the standards. You have to give the standards. Sometimes users will tell you, okay, just give the instance name like this. You have to copy paste that instance name and you can give. Okay, so I'm selecting default instance, so it is not asking any name. Remember one thing, okay, while connecting only it will ask computer name to connect to the default instance. In all other scenarios like services or folders will be named as MS SQL server only. Right, I have one default instance in my local machine. Okay, let me connect to the default instance in my local machine, not in the virtual machine. I'm connecting to the default instance in my local machine. Okay, this is my default instance. So I'm connecting using my computer name. Jagdish PC is my computer name. I'm connecting to the default instance. Okay, I have connected. But you cannot connect to the default instance using MS SQL server. It will throw error. MS SQL server. Okay, right? If I connect, it will throw error. Definitely it will throw error. But what is this MS SQL server? All the services related to the default instance will be named with MS SQL server. All the folders for default instance will be named as MS SQL server. If you want to see, you can see the services in the services.msc. Go to services.msc screen. Okay, like you can see the error, right? So if you just type yes, you can see the SQL server. See here, you cannot see any computer name in the brackets. Okay, see here SQL server, MS SQL server means this is default instance database engine service. This is default instance agent service. Okay, and this is default instance full text service. You can see in the brackets. So in the services and in the folders, it will show you MS SQL server. That means that belongs to default instance. Only while connecting, you have to give computer name. You cannot give MS SQL server. If you give MS SQL server, it will throw error like this. Okay, clear? I'll ask everyone very important thing. Arun, Anil, Ashwin, Karthik, Madhavi, Mani, Rajesh, Ritesh, Saujanya. Is it clear? Any issues, any doubts?
Yes, it will.
Mani, I guess you are not recording. Is it clear? Clear, right? Fine.
Yes.
Right. So only while connecting to the SQL server, you have to give MS, instance computer name, but the services for default instance will be named as MS SQL server and folders. If you want to see folders also, see program files, Microsoft SQL server, instance root directory. Okay. I'll tell you again after installation. I'll tell you again. Okay. If you see here, MS SQL server, it won't show computer name. MS SQL 10 underscore 50 means 2008 R2 dot MS SQL server. So all the folders and services will be created with the name of MS SQL server. Okay. For named instance, of course, what name you gave, it will show that name in the services.msc. See here, I have one more instance of 2012. You can see SQL Server RAW 2K12. The instance name is RAW 2K12. For named instance, it will fine. It will show with the it will show with the instance name. But for default instance, connecting to the default instance is different, and the services folders and all named as a different thing. Clear? Right? Fine. Let me go to this virtual machine. Yes. Okay, so if you want, you can change it. This is simply a folder is going to be created. Instance ID means a folder is going to be created. If you want, you can change the default folder. Okay, if you want to put your name and all, you can put it, but don't change it. Okay, people will confuse if you change the folders and all. Other DBS will be confused how to troubleshoot it and all. Why? Because all the supported files will be there in this folder, right? In this location, this folder will be created. In this folder, all the supported files will be there. So make sure don't change this instance ID. If you give a different name, see here I am giving MySQL 2012. Okay, so if I click here, automatically it will be changed to SQL 2012. Okay, so if I have SQL 2012 to SQL 2014 in the same machine, if you change this folder to 2014, if any troubleshoot, if any errors comes to 2012 means in which folder that DBA will check. Okay, so that's why don't change the folders and all, keep it as it is. Okay, I am installing default instance only. Okay, again, if you click here, I'll get MS SQL server. Okay, or else if you go next, it will show you MS SQL server. Here you can see any installed instances. As this is a new machine, we haven't installed any SQL server, so it is empty. Okay, next time I can show you one installed instance will be there here. Okay, right? Fine. Now let me go next. This will change to MS SQL server. See here once. If not, we have to change it. Is it clear? Any issues, any doubts? Am I going too fast? Why? Because installation we cannot discuss parts and all. So it will be good if we discuss in a single day. Right. Let me go back again. Let me check whether that yeah, it is still showing as a SQL 2012. Let me change it to MS SQL server. Right. MS SQL Server. Right. You can go next. Why? Because I'm installing default instance, right? That's why I change it to MS SQL Server. Right. So to install the SQL Server, you should have 3571 MB, roughly 3 GB. But you are having 15,000 MB, roughly 15 GB free space is there. So you have enough free space to install it. So you can see a green check mark. If you don't have enough free space in the C drive, you can see a red mark here, and you cannot see next button also. Please make sure some free space is created in the drive, respective drives. Next. Can anyone tell me what will be the next screen? What will be the next screen? If I ask you what will be the next screen, can anyone tell me? Without clicking next. Sorry.
User ask
Okay.
automatic.
So here you can see
Database
here
configuration.
database engine configuration. Okay. So you can see here what and all next screens and all. Still we have this many pending screens. Right. Now very important option, very important topic, service account. What is the service account and all? Service account is an account which helps to run the service. The simple definition is service account is an account which helps to run the service. What is the use of the service account? Right. So remember one thing. If you install any software, not only SQL Server, if you install any software in the Windows machine, every software will run on the basis of service accounts only. But they won't ask you, okay, to select the service accounts and all. Automatically it will choose some default service accounts. That's why it won't ask you. I'll give you an example. If you are installing a antivirus, what is the activity of the antivirus actually? What antivirus will do? It will scan your computer. If it found any virus files and all, it will simply delete, or it will ask us to delete the files and all, that virus files and all. How it will work internally? It will maintain a database. Okay, it will maintain a separate database. So in this database, in this database, all the virus file extensions will be there. Imagine we have one virus file extension, new virus file extension came .fff. Okay, so this .fff is a new virus file. So whatever files are there with .fff in your computer, your antivirus software, Avastar, Quick Heal, anything, it has to scan all the folders. If it found any .fff files, it will move to different folder. Then it will delete automatically. Sometimes it will ask us to delete, right? So here this antivirus is doing two things. What are those two things? First, it will scanning your computer, all the drives, all the folders, first thing. Second thing, if it found, scanning means what? Reading. Scanning means reading, read operations. Next, if it found that file, it will delete it, means writing operations. Who will do this read and write? Your antivirus software, right? But your antivirus software don't do this activity. On behalf of antivirus software, one worker will be there. Okay, what if I want to say one maid will be there? Okay, that maid will read the whole data, all folders, all drives, and he is only going to delete the affected files and all. Got it? That account is called service account. That account is called service account. So please mute, please mute, this will be recorded. Please mute. I'm sorry, please mute. Please mute if you don't have any questions. Right, fine. So remember one thing, a service cannot enter into the folders. Service cannot enter into the drives. Service cannot check any folders and all. Only an account can do all these things. Only a user can do all these things. User or user account. That account we are going to call it as a service account. Okay, got it? So simply service account will read the data and write the data. So in the same way, what SQL Server will do? Can anyone tell me what SQL Server will do? What SQL Server will do? What is the definition of SQL Server?
To store, process, and
Store,
retrieve.
process, and retrieve the data. Store means what? It has to write the data, right? Write the data to the disk. In that way only it can store. Process also writing, modifying everything. Retrieving means reading. So who will read and write the data to the disk from the disk? Your service account will do all these things. Your service account will read the data from the disk, write the data to the disk. So service account is very important in the SQL Server. Okay, service account is very important in the SQL Server. You can create any user and you can simply assign that user as a service account. Not a big deal. I'll show you in the next class how to create service account and all. Simply you have to create one user account and you have to add this user account as a service account in the SQL Server services. That's it. Right. So that is the importance of the service account. So here I'll give you one example. We will have two types of service accounts: built-in service accounts or inbuilt service accounts, or your customized service accounts. Okay, inbuilt service account, customized service accounts. Okay, inbuilt means I told you, right? If you install any antivirus, it won't ask you select the service account and all, right? But what it will do for other softwares and all, it will use inbuilt service accounts. We have inbuilt service accounts. What and all inbuilt service accounts are there? If you go to services.msc screen, there you can see the log on as screen. This is called your service account screen. Log on as, just click on this log on as screen and expand this column. You can see local system, okay, network service, and local service also will be there. There are three service accounts actually. I have created this Jagdish and all, forget about it. Local service is one inbuilt service account. Local system is one inbuilt service account, and network service is one inbuilt service account. Okay, based on the priority, the services are going to run on the respective service accounts. High priority service account is local system. Your SQL Server, antivirus softwares, any other important softwares will run on local system service account. Okay, I don't want this service account. I want to create my own service account. What is the problem with this service accounts? See, you are staying in a PG. You are staying in a PG hostel. Okay, or else you are staying in a room, separate room. You are the only person, you are staying in a room. So because of the work and all, you cannot do that cleaning work and all, you cannot do. You have a lot of work is there, pending work is there. So what you will do, one, you have one maid. Okay, that maid directly, she is coming to your home daily. She is coming to your home. She is completing your work, whatever work is there, that work is there, she is going to complete the work, that cleaning and all, everything, cleaning utensils, cleaning the home, everything she is going to complete. Usually you are the only person, so she is coming and she is completing the whole work in 30 minutes. Your friend came to your home room. Okay, he is also decided to stay with you. Now two persons came, right? So little bit burden will be there for the maid, right? So earlier she used to complete in 30 minutes, but the utensils and all will increase, right? So she will complete in 45 minutes. Now three persons came, only one maid. The time it will take to complete all this complete cleaning section and all, it will take 1 hour. If people are increasing, maid time also is going to increase, right? She cannot complete in half an hour, right? Earlier she used to complete in half an hour, but she is taking 1 hour. Why? Because three people are there. In the same way, lot of softwares are running on local system. Again, if I assign the same local system to my SQL Server, my work may delay. I may have some performance issues and all. So what I'll do, I'll put separate maid for me. That is called customized service account. My own service account will be there. This service account will do reading, writing, everything. Okay, so I'll create my own service account. That that service accounts is called customized service accounts. You can create customized service accounts and you can assign the customized service accounts to the SQL Server. As of now, I'll select only default service account. In the next class, I'll show you how to create a customized service account, how to assign the customized service account and all to SQL services. Clear? Is it clear what service account will do? Service account is an account which helps to run the service. If anyone delete this service account, remember, if anyone delete this service account, your SQL Server will be down. One service account should be there to log into the Windows machine, to log into the folders. Okay, If anyone deleted that customized service account, your service, your SQL service will be down. Completely service will be down. So you have to change the service account again, and you have to start the SQL server again. So very important. Service account means very important. Service account will read the data, write the data. So it is very important. So as of now, I'm selecting a default service account. Okay. Here you can see these are the virtual. Again, we have one more option called virtual service accounts. It will come with the default instance names. Okay. Anti service you can see, right? If you want to change it, click on browse. Okay. You can give the name, service account name, and you can check names and all. Your name will get whatever service account you have created, that name you can see here, and you can click OK, and you can change the service account like that. But again, you have to, okay, restart the SQL server once you change the service account and all. Okay, right? So let me. I'm just simply selecting the service SQL Server server agent only. I'm selecting the default service account as of now. I'm not creating any customized service account. It will take time. Okay, right? Password. If it is default service accounts and all, it will not ask any password. If it is a customized service account, it will ask password. You have to provide the password. And startup types. Usually, that startup types should be automatic. Whenever you reboot the Windows server, all the services, these are very important services: database engine service, agent service, these services should be automatic. Again, no need to start it manually. If you simply select manual here, the services will be manual. And once, even though if anyone rebooted the Windows machine, again you have to manually select each and every service. If you select automatic, even though if anyone rebooted the Windows server, automatically the services will come online. Okay, will be up and running. Find collation settings. This is also very important. Collations means simply language settings, right? So if you install any software, it will ask you the language, right? Select the language, English, Hindi, like that. It will ask you, right? In the same way, we have default collation settings. That is SQL Latin 1 General CP1 CIAS. This is the collation setting. Latin 1 language. Okay. SQL Latin 1 means Latin language, means your English language only. SQL Latin 1 General. CP1 means code base 1. CI means case insensitive. AS means accent sensitive. Yes means accent sensitive. Okay. So this is the common default collation setting. If you want to change, the customer will mention in the build sheet. You have to change it by clicking on customize button. Whatever collations he is asking, any other different languages, maybe he is interested in China language. Okay, he can select Chinese language. Okay, he can select okay, like Japanese language. He can select Korean language. He can select, okay, what we can say, we have different Portuguese. Okay, and whatever other languages also there, whatever languages are there, Slovenian. Okay, whatever languages are there, depends upon their requirement, they can choose their own language and all. If you see some websites, okay, it will show, okay, different languages, right? So in the same way, the data which you are entering into the database, if it is English, you can select SQL Latin 1 General CP1 CIAS. If you want to enter the data in your local language, Telugu, English, okay, sorry, Telugu, Hindi and all, it is not going to support. Okay, mostly like very less language it is going to support around the world. Okay, so SQL Latin 1 General CP1 CIAS, this is the common collation setting. Okay, this is the common collation setting and default collation setting. If you want to change it, you can change from here, customize settings. Okay, right, go to next. Database engine configuration. This is an important screen. Windows authentication, mixed mode authentication. Windows authentication, now I am just discussing very basic things about this authentication. In the security concept, I'll discuss more. Okay, Windows authentication means it will not ask any password. If you see here, you can directly connect to the SQL server, connect button. See here, if you select Windows authentication, it is not asking username and password. Okay, if you select SQL server authentication, it will ask username and password. Okay, so if you select Windows authentication, already in the Windows level you are an authorized user. Okay, this Jagdish is a Windows level user. Already I have logged into the Jagdish account with by giving valid password and all. So in the Windows level, already I'm a valid user. So that's why again it is not asking the password and all. But if you select SQL Server authentication or mixed mode authentication, it will ask the username and password. You have to provide the username and password. Okay, so like this it is going to work. But again, in the security concept, I'll tell you more about this Windows authentication, mixed mode authentication and all. Can we change authentication after installation? And one more question, can we change collation settings after installation? Can anyone tell me, can we change collation
No,
settings after installation?
you cannot,
No.
cannot change. No.
Okay, You cannot change collation settings. Can we change service account after installation? Can we
Yes, sir.
change service? Okay, fine. Can we change the authentication mode from
Yes.
Windows to mixed mode after installation?
Yes.
Okay, fine, right? Okay, fine. So what are the precautions? Okay, if you change the authentication mode from Windows to mixed mode authentication, what we have to do to take effect? You have to reboot the SQL server. Okay, so we don't have time, so I'll not go for questions now. Right, Windows authentication mode, fine. I'm just selecting Windows authentication mode as of now. Later after installation, I'll show you how to change the authentication mode from Windows to mixed authentication. This is very important screen. Okay, you are installing a SQL server, but who can access the SQL server? You have to provide. Not everyone can access the SQL server. You have to provide. Who can access the SQL server? You have to provide in this screen. As of now, I'm adding a current user. In the organization, we'll add DBA team, service accounts. Okay, everyone will add by just clicking on add button and all. Any other application team, if they want, we are going to add from the application from the add button. But currently, you should add at least one account. Otherwise, if you don't add anything, it won't throw any errors. It will successfully install, but you cannot connect to the SQL server. Why? Because you don't create any account to connect to the SQL server. You have to create one account. Okay, you have to add one account. That account can be added into the SQL server with the sysadmin privileges. So if any other person need access on this server, easily you can connect to the SQL server using this account. Then you can create a login to other users and you can give permissions respectively. But if you don't add any account, simply if you go next and install, it will not throw any error, but you cannot connect to the SQL server. It will be very difficult task. Okay, right. In the organization, we'll add Windows team, so not Windows team, SQL DBA team, complete DBA team we are going to add here, and service accounts also we are going to add here. Okay, data directories. So in which drive you are going to store all the data files, log files, backup files, tempdb files and all. So here you can select, as of now I'm having only C drive in this machine, virtual machine. I don't have any other drive. So as of now I have to select C drive only. Okay, I cannot select any other drive. So all the files I'm installing in the C drive, and it will create different folders in the C drive. Okay, in the program files, Microsoft SQL Server folder will be created, and in that Microsoft SQL Server folder, if you see here default instance, right, MS SQL Server 2000 MS SQL Server folder will be created. In that MS SQL folder will be created. In that data folder will be created like this. In the same way for log folder will be created. Same, sometimes it will store in the data folder as well. And for tempdb folder is going to be created. Here it is showing data, but you can create one tempdb folder and you can browse the tempdb folder here. In the organization, will have different drives for this. Data files will be stored in a different drive. Log files will be stored in a different drive. Tempdb files will be stored in a different drive. Backup files will be stored in a different drive. So we'll simply change the drive letters here. I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you at the time of cluster installation. I'll show you. By that time, I'll create multiple drives and I'll show you. Simply you have to change the drive letter here. Don't create any folders. Automatically it will create the folders and I'll simply change the drive letters and all. File stream, if you are storing any video content data, photos content data, YouTube and all like that. Okay, for that you have to enable the file stream, but I don't have any video content data, right? I'm not enabling the file stream. That's it. We have almost came to an end of the installation. Error reporting, if you want to report the errors to the Microsoft directly, you can select this option, but again it needs an internet connection. Your server don't have internet connection and all, so no need to select this option. Simply go next. Okay, that's it. Finally, remember one thing. Okay, again it will go for some checks, right? Everything is fine. One thing, you cannot install SQL Server. Okay, let me go on next. Okay, and this is the final screen. You can select the install button so that SQL Server installation will start. Okay, so whatever options we have selected till now, it don't know. Okay, it don't know anything. It don't know the GUI. Your operating system don't know the GUI. Whatever options we have selected till now, this screen will convert into a script. It knows, Windows server knows only a command. So we don't know how to write a command to install the SQL server. So this screen, the installation center screen, will simply create a command. This is the command, actual command. Okay, now if I click install, this command will run and it will install the SQL server. Clear? And one more important point, you cannot install your SQL server on a shared drives. Shared drives. You cannot install SQL Server on a shared drives. You cannot install your SQL Server on a mapped drives. You cannot install your SQL Server on a compact drives. You cannot install SQL Server in external drives. You cannot install SQL Server in a compressed drives. Very important. Okay, if you have any of the drives at the time of installation, if you select any of the drives, okay, pen drive, external hard disk, compressed drive, okay, if you select any of the drives at the time of installation, simply it will throw error. Okay, so it won't continue. So this is all about SQL Server installation. It will take a 15 to 20 minutes, depends upon your server speed and all. That's it for today. Anyone is having any issues, you can ask me. Or else if you want to wait, if you want to see the till completion of the installation, you can wait and you can see. Otherwise, no, I'll see in the next class, then you can see, you can wait for the next class. Okay, but it will continue. The meeting will continue. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, fine.
Thank you, Shanmugh. I'm leaving for the day.
Yeah. Thank you. Madhavi, any questions? Is it clear?
No, sir.
Money,
Yes.
money, is it clear?
Sir, please do forward yesterday's class recordings.
Sorry.
Please do forward yesterday's class recordings.
Yeah. I'm going to forward. Okay, I'm going to forward today's and yesterday's session. Okay, I'm going to forward. By the end of today, you are going to get all the recordings. Okay. But again, if you need, I just we have a YouTube channel, right? You can follow the YouTube channel videos as well. Whatever we have discussed, you can find the same videos in that YouTube channel. If you need urgent, then you can go for it. Or else, if you want, if you can wait, just wait for today. I'm going to share all the recordings, yesterday's and today's recordings. Okay. Yes. Anil, any issues? Any questions? Ashwin, any issues? Any questions? Karthik, Rajesh.
No questions.
Okay. Rajesh, Ritesh. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you all. You can wait and you can watch till the end of the installation. Okay, I have to tell one very important point. Then you can leave for the day. The meeting is going to close now. Again, I'll open the meeting. Okay.